922 on the Big 550 KTRS. We are talking with Major Joe Spees, former St. Louis City police officer, now with First Line Facial Recognition Software Program as part of the Blue Line Security Solutions Company. Here in St. Louis, you guys have developed this technology, this software. We spent the last 10 minutes kind of telling people how it works, where it, like you said, it doesn't connect to every database in the world. You're not Google searching it. You're not Facebooking it. This is really targeted type security data systems that you're connecting with, right?
Correct.
So where is it being implemented, and what are some of the outcomes and results of this kind of technology?
So currently, a couple of the applications that we had, I talked about the St. Louis Circuit Courts. The judges looked at our product. They wanted it for protection of the courthouse, and it has detected threats there. We had a company here in St. Louis that had a workplace violence issue. They deployed it for a few months as a prevention to that person coming back into their business. And we are doing this on a monthly basis in that scenario where a company has a threat for a few months, and we will rent them the system for a few months. So that application's there, but that company has since purchased the system because they liked it, and they liked it as an access control device as well. We also have one of the 3-letter federal agencies that have purchased the system for assistance in an investigation that they're doing, where specific people that they're looking for in the case they're working. It allows them to be able to identify them, create evidence, an evidence string for them, and then initiate surveillance as needed.
Now, I
So
would
those are
imagine
applications.
you guys, surely the NSA is using you in airports, right? I mean, what a great tool for them to have, where they could put the national terrorism, database in there, and all the known either domestic or foreign terrorists in a database, and scan people as they're coming through those metal detectors, because you're not allowed to wear glasses, you're not allowed to wear hats. Are they implementing this technology with the NSA?
Well, the NSA has some versions of video analytics in which facial rec technology is included, but they do not have the style of technology that allows them to immediately detect a threat. And the other piece of that is agencies like the Secret Service, for example. Our system can be deployed on a metal detector, so if you have threats to the president or any dignitary in this upcoming election process, if one of the candidates comes through, and there's always a defined list of people that are a threat to each of these people, they can be uploaded into our system so that the security and police officers and agents on the ground right there have an immediate reaction strategy to that person as they enter, as opposed to trying to look for them.
As a former city police officer here in the city of St. Louis, Major, do you see applications for police forces to be able to put this type of technology when they're looking for a suspect or trying to locate somebody for either questioning or wanted in a crime?
One of the things that we see with what we're doing is that there's multiple uses of the system for each end user. So for law enforcement, they could use it to protect their evidence storage areas, which we were always worried about, who's going in and out of.
Sure.
It's all video documented, weapon protection for the areas they store weapons. But yes, you could also create a database. I'll give you a great example of known car clotters or car thieves. And then if you get some video surveillance photos from something that happened in your town, and you have 2,000 people in that system that you knew came through your town, it will give you matches, and you can quickly identify people. It may kick out 2 or 3 guys that you can look at. Almost assuredly, it's going to be one of the 2 or 3 guys. So yeah, it's a good investigative tool.
Could it even go down to, say, the neighborhood convenience store, if they had this kind of technology, and a known robber, a known, even I'm thinking banks having this technology, if a bank robber has been identified at one other bank, that they could immediately be alerted the minute they walk through the door or get close to the door. You literally could put these cameras outside, right?
Right. So yes, and you could create that database of a known stick-up man. You could create it as known thieves. And by the way, these databases are shareable. So you can see the power of being able, if you're in a grocery store and I'm in a pharmacy and you have a big box store in the immediate area, well, the same thieves are stealing from all of us, and we can share those faces. So, and again, you create your response to that alert how you want it. Well, you could see the power of that, because some of the things that stores worry about are the violent confrontations after you've stolen, the lawsuits behind that. Here, when you walk in the store, I can walk up to you and say, "You've been banned from the store, please leave." Or, "I'm in security, I'm Joe Spees, have a great day shopping at my store." you're not going to go steal them because you know we're watching you.
Mhm.
So that's kind of the power there, is that it's a prevention strategy in a lot of ways for these stores.
Well, and the workforce violence has got to be probably one of your biggest opportunities for growing this product. And it's neat. It's happening in St. Louis too. That this product's being developed here locally and part of what is a really strong tech community. I would imagine a lot of people coming from all over the world to see your product.
Yeah, we actually won the Arts Grants competition in 2014 and really helped us launch our company as a startup. Hey, it's been a real challenge.
I bet.
And we've traveled down a road that's been very interesting. And right now we've taken on a scientist who's a PhD in video analytics as our lead IT person. We've taken on a former CEO who was linked to us through the startup community here in St. Louis
Mhm.
that you mentioned, who's taken control of our company as a CEO. So we have huge value from a law enforcement perspective to know what this product can do
Right.
for you. But we have strengthened our company greatly by bringing in scientists and former CEOs.
I mean, my mind's just spinning with opportunities of putting it. I think of Amber Alerts. I mean, a child who's abducted, if that child is seen in anywhere based on cameras, could you not alert those cameras or through your system of various locations, say if you walk into this Walmart with that child, or we know who the suspect is, we could identify them? What about traffic lights? Could you potentially get them at a traffic signal if they come to a stop?
It depends on the camera angles and the ability. We do have a point and zoom camera, so eventually that technology may be there.
Wow.
I wouldn't call that a sweet spot for us right now. Our sweet spots are going to metal detectors, anywhere there's an access point where you're coming into stores, hospitals, courthouses. There's also a capacity in our system that we think has huge potential for nighttime stores.
Oh.
It's called the unknown capacity. It will let you in on an access. You could lock your door at a 7-Eleven or another style market.
Right.
They're really challenged on the night watch. We know that from law enforcement. They're robbed, at night often. That's usually where their violent crime occurs. So our system could be deployed, and you simply look at a camera. It'll throw a signal and unlock the door immediately on the walk. So it's not invasive in terms of getting in. But what the people know going through that unknown capacity is that they're on camera. You have to look at our camera for that door to unlock and let you into the store at 4 in the morning.
Wow.
So there's a store here in St. Louis that's been robbed by the same guy twice in the last month at 4 in the morning. So that guy, knowing he has to go in through that facial rec process to get into the store, almost assuredly is going to go somewhere else because he knows he's on camera, taped, and he's almost
I think
assuredly
it would
going
be
to
a
get caught.
huge deterrent to criminals in general if they knew these cameras were all over town and in various stores.
Right.
Now, are you getting pushback from ACLU people, anybody pushing back saying that this security measure is a breach of their privacy?
About 1.5 years ago, when we went in the courts, the ACLU picked up on us immediately, and within 24 hours, we heard from them. When they saw the defined database, and that database structured around threats, structured around good people, which would be your employees.
Or
that you're
controlled,
keeping
I was going to
safe.
say, controlled
That
databases, right?
That controlled database, as soon as they determined that we're not selling photos, we're not distributing them, we're not sharing them in any capacity, and we're not drawing from big databases like driver's license photos, they were fine with it.
Wow. So next steps for the company, Blue Line Security Solutions, I know would love to get this thing out in a bigger, broader way. Is there a big media blitz coming, or is it really relational and you got to get out there one by one company at a time? If there's a company, for example, right now listening to this show, a CEO driving to work going, hey, I'd love to protect my workforce. I'd love to protect my institution or center or factory or whatever it is. How do they go about implementing this? And what is the cost range? I'm sure that's the first thing most of us are talking about is this thing must be wildly crazy expensive.
Our new CEO has really put us on a path towards success in terms of a business. So what I would ask is that they look at our website. We have rebranded ourselves using a local company here in St. Louis. I would ask they go to Blue Line Technology, which is our website, and from there they can contact us. We are going to be at an As Is show, which is a security conference show on August 13th at the Viking here in St. Louis.
Okay.
We're hitting trade shows. So those are kind of the methods we're using. We're also looking at integrators, because they're in this security field, to help us get it to their customers so that they know the potential of a new product to be able to add to their line and arsenal of things to protect people.
A lot of former police officers in this company, a lot of you guys who see the great promise that this could bring to really preventative policing, which is what I see this as. Is that a good term to use? Is that this is preventative policing that will just as a great deterrent from people causing havoc or causing crimes because they know they're going to get caught by these surveillance systems.
Yeah, and as we wound through our lives and retired and got out of law enforcement, we did that for our lives. That's what we did without being too dramatic about it. It was fun to protect people. This is just a way in our second lives to be able to keep doing that.
That's great. And the contact information, you say the best way is Blue Line Technology. Is that bluelinetechnology.com? Or how do you
just
get...
hit bluelinetechnology.com and it'll take you right to our website. We'll be happy to... there are video links to a local high school that it's deployed in. St. Mary's High School bought our system. Mike England's done a great job using that to secure his school.
I didn't even think about the whole school safety issues. Oh my goodness.
So St. Mary's, I think, is significantly better protected because of us. And they're using it both for access control for their kids to come in and out of the facility, as well as threat detection if they need it. So we have some referrals on the website, some video on the website. They had a shooting in Milan, Italy about 4 months ago where a guy went in and killed 3 people in a courthouse. They knew he was coming back. He brought in a fake ID, got into the courthouse. We were on the front page of a Milan newspaper saying the reporter obviously Googled it and found us in St. Louis.
Sure.
But in Italy, in that paper, it said, had they had Blue Line's technology, this almost assuredly wouldn't have happened. Now, that confrontation probably would have happened at the entrance to the courthouse. Their security guards at the entrance would have had a crack at stopping the guy. But even in Italy, they see the huge value of protecting that environment by keeping a threat out of that courthouse.
Would there have been any chance in the Marine shooting down in Chattanooga of identifying that an alert could have been sent if they would have caught facial recognition of him approaching the Marine recruiting office prior to that shooting?
Had they known he was a threat going in? Now, there are people that
just aren't on any list. They're not out there, right?
Right. If you're a lone wolf shooter, it's extremely difficult.
Sure.
Extremely difficult for any of us to stop that. I taught workplace and school violence prevention strategies for companies and schools. The lone wolf is the most difficult challenge for sure. But typically, workplace violence, domestic violence, and these other issues, most of the time, you have a heads up that this guy's going to be a threat. And the most common one is the guy or gal that you fire that you're afraid of.
Absolutely. Well, keep up the great work, Joe. I know you guys are passionate about this product and getting it out to people to make workplace more safe, to make schools more safe, and even as we spoke about the applications that could occur in airports and NSA. Anything to make that line move faster, I'm all for.
It's very fast.
Yeah, it's good. How much to process it through a database? How many seconds?
A tenth of a second.
A tenth of a second.
Yes.
The minute you pick up on how many points of my face, how many it scans, how many spots?
You can set it to what percentage you like. As soon as it hits that percentage, if it's 95 and you're using it for access control, as soon as it hits 95%, 99% if you wish.
Wow.
And by the way, you asked a price, Dan, and it's likely not nearly as expensive. Now, this is a premium product.
Sure.
This is cutting edge technology.
And it's cameras and it's your towers and it's your servers and you got all the backup stuff that you got to create, right?
Right.
But
so you have a lot of moving parts there, and the parts are these are high-end computers. This isn't a computer you buy off the shelf. So we juice these things, we build them to spec, and then we download our software, and that's the plug-and-play system we're deploying.
That's Joe Spees, former major of the St. Louis City Police Department, and he's with Blue Line Technology and the facial recognition program called First Line. It's great to see St. Louis taking a leading role in this kind of technology. Thanks, Major. All right, it's 9:35 on the Big 5.